1999, my wife and I found out suddenly that our 16-year-old cat Tabby had terminal cancer and only a few months to live. Just 15 years earlier, Tabby had literally walked into our lives, and he turned me from a dog lover into a confirmed cat lover. This news hit us very hard, and it made me start to think about my life and what I wanted to do. I quit my job, cashed in my stock options, and decided to build Tabby's Place in memory of our boy Tabby. The mission of Tabby's Place is to save cats from hopeless situations, and there's typically no more hopeless situation than a cat scheduled for euthanasia at a shelter. For this reason, the vast majority of cats at Tabby's Place come to us from other shelters. Tabby's Place is a refuge for cats because we allow shelters to choose the cats they bring to us, and we will accept virtually any cat without regard to age, appearance, or disease. About 25% of our cats are special needs cats, those that have a chronic debilitating illness, such as diabetes, heart disease, cancer, or paralysis. The facility is designed so that cats can spend a significant amount of time here, in fact years or even if need be, their entire lives. Most of the cats live in suites where the cats have lots of space to play, sleep, and hide. To provide the best in care for our residents, we have an in-house medical facility. We think Tabby's Place is wonderful, and we know that our residents are happy. We believe that the best outcome for any cat here is adoption into a loving home.
My name is Sheila Abrams, and last March I adopted a cat whose name was Emma, and I changed her name to Ember. Starting in April 2008, I probably had the worst year of my life. I lost my husband, who was my best friend and partner and everything for 50 years. And then in addition, I lost a cat and 2 dogs within the space of a year. I wasn't really looking forward to the future at all. I thought, when you have a fire and there are embers left in the fireplace, it means the fire hasn't gone out yet. I named her Ember because I felt that she should have a new name to signify a new life. She's not a lap cat. She doesn't cuddle, but on her own terms, she will come and rub against my leg, and if I don't pet her, she'll hit me with her paw, and I pet her. She likes to be petted. Adopting her was a commitment to go on. You know, it meant that my life was going to go on and that something new could happen to me. You know, even though I didn't have Bernie anymore, new things could happen to me in my life. My life still had possibilities. So that's what she meant to me. That's what the adoption meant to me and why it's been important to me.
My name's Scott Rosenblum, and I adopted Waffle from Tabby's Place. He was one of several strays in a litter. People that lived in the area around Tabby's saw him. He was one of a few cats. You can see he's missing the one eye. Apparently it was just sort of hanging freely from his head there, and sort of being bullied away from the food, being bullied away from his mother, and these people did a great job finally catching him and bringing him in. But Dr. Collins and Denise took him to surgery, took out the eye, nursed him back to health, and here he is. He's just got the one eye, but he can spot a ladybug on the ceiling from across the room and do his darndest to try to catch it, so hasn't really slowed him down a whole lot. He was a hard luck case initially, but then, very sort of full of life, very playful, very much a people cat. Just his energy and his attitude, and a bit of again, to go from such a rough beginnings to turn into such a warm and affectionate cat.
Donnie came from a shelter in Brooklyn with his mother, and he was a litter of 6. Unfortunately, he and his brother were the only survivors from that litter. They were very highly infected with the calicivirus. Then they went through multiple treatments of ringworm. Once he came out and he was free to run around in the lobby, we did notice that he was limping. We found out that he had bilateral luxating patellas. The patella is basically the kneecap, and it is either from a deformity of the soft tissue or the natural groove where the patella rests. If it is not properly formed, it allows the patella to rotate back and forth out of the socket. Most cats, you do not operate on them unless they're painful from it, and he was pretty painful. They were pretty severe luxations. The biggest part to the surgery is the recovery time. He had to be confined for about 2 months. He wanted nothing more than to get out and play, and we knew what was best for him was to stay confined. He was adopted by a wonderful woman who is also a volunteer here, who spent a lot of time with him, who also knew that in the future he may require surgery on those as well. That she was well informed, educated herself a lot on it. He is getting along wonderfully with our other cats in the house, is playing like a normal cat now, and is doing really well. She's a wonderful person who's been very patient with him. Donnie was a strong kitten to go through everything he went through. I mean, 4 other kittens in that litter didn't make it. He always had a great spirit throughout it all. He always still wanted to play. He still was extremely affectionate. It just shows you that how resilient these kittens really can be. When the heart's strong, it makes the rest of them so strong as well.
Everywhere we looked in 2009, people were talking about the recession. Yet despite the rough economy, the Tabby's Place family made it a true banner year for the cats. As you can see, 2009 saw the highest income ever for Tabby's Place. The kitties brought in about $168,000 more than any other year. That amazing generosity came overwhelmingly from individuals and families who adore the cats. Tabby's Place receives no government funding whatsoever. As you can see, we receive only about 6% of our income from corporations and foundations. The remaining 94% comes from just the amazing public who is crazy about the cats. The Tabby's Place cats are blessed to have people loving them as near as Ringo's New Jersey and as far away as South Africa and the United Arab Emirates. The generous donations from the people who love our cats go primarily towards medical expenses. Since at any given time we have around 100 cats and about 30% of those cats have special needs, we make very heavy use of emergency and specialty services, which are costly, but there's nothing that we won't do for a cat if it's in his or her best interest. So our medical expenses are pretty much always our most significant category of spending. The beautiful generosity of our cats' friends also meant that 2009 saw a major milestone. It was the first year that Tabby's Place was fully self-sustaining. Every year before 2009, John and Sharon Rosenberg have had to kick in extra to make up the difference between our expenses for the kitties and the income that we've brought in through donations. But in 2009, donations from the public covered our expenses completely. Reaching the goal of being self-sustaining brings us that much closer to the ultimate dream for Tabby's Place. 3 buildings that will care for 500 cats at once, including the most vulnerable kitties, cats with feline leukemia. In 3 years, we hope to begin planning for the next building, which will welcome the next 200 Tabby's Place cats. And we know that 3 years are going to pass in a flash, and we can't wait to rescue and welcome and love those next 200 cats. The cats' amazing year was only possible thanks to people like you who love them so much and who choose to act on that love so generously. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for loving the cats so well. Here's to 2010 and beyond.